everyone. Welcome to Budget in Focus 2026. I'm your host, Melissa Gordon. Today we have the pleasure of sitting down with the Honorable Prime Minister, Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips. Prime Minister Phillips, thank you for joining us today.
I'm happy to be on Budget in Focus. As you know, last Monday we had the 2026 budget in the House of Assembly, and from Monday we will have the debates on the budget, and then the following Monday examination of the estimates. So we are in the process of having the budget presented to the people of Guyana, and then of course debating the budget by the people's representatives, the members of parliament, and of course they'll have an opportunity to further examine the budget before it will be passed, and all the policies, programs, and projects in that budget start implementing to bring improvements in the life and livelihood of the people of Guyana the year 2026 and beyond.
All right, thank you, Prime Minister. So right off the bat, my first question to you is, could you share how Budget 2026 advances government's broader development agenda for the Guyanese people?
Well, Budget 2026, as the theme implies, is putting people first. Again, another people-centered budget by the People's Progressive Party civic government. And Budget 2026 is designed to maintain strong economic growth while expanding social and human development programs. It prioritizes infrastructure, education, healthcare, energy, security, digital transformation, ensuring benefits reach to all the people of Guyana, wherever they are, whichever community they live in, right? It also aims to strengthen long-term competitiveness, right? Improvements in roads, power supply, digital connectivity, support for vulnerable groups, all come together to make Guyana a place that is attractive for foreign direct investment and for local investment. The budget also emphasizes fairness and inclusivity. Very important for us in Guyana. Not only development on the coastland, but also development in the hinterland, ensuring our hinterland, riverine, youth, and elderly populations all benefit from this budget. And therefore, it's a people-centered, people-first budget.
Definitely, PM, because we see some of the policies coming out with the lowering of the threshold. We see, of course, the promise of the delivery now of the cash grant that has started last year and is continuing this year. However, PM, I want to now specifically turn your attention to the sectors which fall under you. One of the major sectors is the energy sector. Now we see energy getting $119.4 billion this year. Of that, there of course is an allotment under the OPM. Can we discuss, or could you shed some light on the gas to energy project and the renewable energy agenda under your office?
You know, while we want to discuss the energy sector, before if we could talk about some of the measures, the people-centered measures in this budget. The budget introduces a $100,000 national cash grant for every adult 18 years and older, benefiting more than 600,000 people and injecting over 60 billion Guyana dollars directly into households. Support for families with school-age children. You know, we started the Because We Care, and there's a little history behind it. It was started in a previous PPPC government. Then we had a change of government, and they basically do away with it. For 5 years, when we went to the electorate in 2020, we promised them that we will restart the Because We Care, and over 5 years, it will raise and reach $50,000 per school child. We have delivered that to the people. We started it with $15,000, as you recall, and over 5 years it reached $50,000 plus the $5,000 for uniform. What we're doing, and this again is based on our promise to the people, over the next 5 years, it will continue to increase. And for 2026, the Because We Care will move from $50,000 to $60,000. And we're adding a $20,000 for transportation. Okay, so the children will get $60,000, each child $60,000, $20,000 for transportation, and the $5,000 for the school uniform, right? Just imagine some 200 and about 250, 220, 250,000 school children in Guyana, and each child will get $85,000 from the Because We Care, right? That's government finding another some $17.5 billion in direct transfer to homes. We also had promised to increase every year the monies paid to old age pensioners. When we took office in 2020, it was some $21,500, and in keeping our promise, by the end of 2025, right, it reached $41,000. Last year when we were campaigning, we made a promise that this will increase periodically every year over the next 5 years until it reaches $60,000. So in delivering on that promise, in 2026 budget, we've moved it from $41,000 to $46,000 for the old age pensioner. And in addition to that, we're paying them same old age. And by the way, this year I qualify for old age pension, the $46,000, and they will get a $20,000 for the year to cater for transportation, right? These are some of the measures that are impacting positively on the people in Guyana. In addition to that, there's another benefit for our people who receive public assistance, and that is being moved from $21,000 to $25,000 in this year's budget. So all in all, when you look at the budget, there's so many measures that will impact positively on the disposable income of the people of Guyana. The pathway workers, right? They will also get an increase from $40,000 to $50,000. Again, injecting another $14 billion, right, in income to them alone. Then, of course, you have the tax measures, right? You recall that we have zeroed the taxation on fuel imported into Guyana. A measure that has a multiplier effect because it impacted on every aspect of life in Guyana. The production of food, the transportation of people, you name it. All aspects of life in Guyana benefited from that. The GPL rates, the water rates remain the same in Guyana from pre-COVID time to now because of all these measures by government that has impacted positively on stabilizing the increasing cost of living. Many countries had riots because cost of living went through the roof. Yes, there was increases in cost of living in Guyana, but due to the measures put in place by our government, we were able to, reduce the negative impact on cost of living increases in Guyana. So there's been minimal increases in cost of living. And if you look at the budget statement, they mentioned that the inflation in Guyana was 2.5, I think 2.5, 2.6%, right? Which is most commendable, right, in terms of the whole management of the whole macroeconomic situation in Guyana. People continue to benefit from the policies of a government that I am proud to be part of.
Definitely, Prime Minister. We see with all that you said, the team coming out there, putting people first. So, Prime Minister, let's now go into the sectors, if you will, please, into the sectors that fall under you. The energy sector specifically. one of Guyana's biggest projects is the 300 megawatt gas to energy. And then we also have under your office renewable energy coming through. Could you tell us what budget 2026 has in these two areas?
In 2026, we've put aside $10.7 billion for the gas to energy project. And we envisage that in the last quarter of 2026, the gas to energy project would start supplying electricity to the grid. Some 300 megawatts of electricity. But not only will it be supplying electricity, it will be doubling the amount of electricity available for households and businesses in Guyana. With the gas energy project, we are also building out and modernizing our transmission and distribution system. So that will lead to not only reliable electricity, but stable electricity being supplied to homes, to business enterprises, and so. And last, but perhaps not least, more important, the gas to energy project, when it comes on stream, will allow us as a government to keep a promise that we made to the people of Guyana, to reduce the cost of electricity by 50%. See, if you're paying every month, you're paying $10,000 from your disposable income going towards electricity, it means that when the gas energy project comes on stream and you live in the Damar Borbis interconnected system, you will start paying $5,000 instead of $10,000. So again, a saving that will be beneficial to the people of Guyana. Compliments of the government of Guyana. You can recall that over 2020-2025, we have invested just about $7.5 million United States dollars, and we acquired 37,250 solar home systems. And what we did, we distributed those solar home systems to households in the hinterland and remote and riverine areas of Guyana. So the people who are not on the coastline, but are in the hinterland, commonly known as off-grid areas, they were able to now move from darkness to light in their homes. We've utilized money, again, to build out some 31 mini-grids throughout the hinterland, or 36 mini-grids, throughout the hinterland of Guyana. And that has powered some 518 buildings, mainly community buildings, you know, like schools, learning resource centers, hospitals, health centers, police stations, you know, regional administrative office, village council offices, and that has impacted positively in the lives of people in those hinterland villages. It means that they now can congregate during the hours of darkness because they have electricity. They can now promote small businesses and cottage industry in those villages because they now have electricity. Children at home, because of the household solar system, they can now do their homework safely at home, right, during the hours of darkness. They can charge their cell phones, you know, and they have a fan. It comes with a fan. And, you know, during times when humidity will affect the household, they can have the fan to bring some comfort to people in those homes. You know, we have, in alignment with our low carbon development strategy, invested in solar farms in many communities. We've invested in mini hydros. You can call the mine easily at Mokomoko and Kumu in Region 9. We've constructed, repaired one that was there before and constructed a new mini hydro. So right now, Lethem and its environment, they have more energy than they can utilize at the moment. In terms of peak demand, it's some 2 megawatts, and they have just about 5 0.2 megawatts of electricity available to them. And most of the electricity is coming from renewable energy. The solar farm at Letem and the 2 mini hydros that were constructed there. Of course, again, reducing emissions and contributing towards this whole low carbon development strategy that was outlined for Guyana.
Thank you for that, Prime Minister. While we're on that, as you and your government continue to push these energy transformations, we also see digitization and digital transformation coming through as well. Can you give our viewers a better understanding of how Budget 2026 expands the capacity in this area for digital transformation?
Yes, Budget 2026, in terms of digital transformation in Guyana, will help us to expand many projects that were started long before 2026. You recall we had Safe City, and we've decided to expand it. So it's no longer Safe City alone, it's Safe Country now. So with the provisions, the allocation from Budget 2026, we will utilize those allocations for Safe Country surveillance expansion, border control, e-passport expansion, and perhaps one of the more popular projects is the Safe Road Intelligent System expansion. Okay, right? That will, of course, be expanded to many roadways throughout Guyana, especially on the coastline. As we build out new road infrastructure, we will put in place the surveillance of the Safe Road Intelligence System, all in all to help control the speeding, right, to get Guyanese to try to move from point A to point B in a safe manner. You don't have to speed. So we have those surveillance, and we'll have the advisories and everything that will accompany it, right? Expansion of the data center by NDMA, expansion of fiber optic cable, and the Starlink satellite connectivity. All those expansions are necessary for a Guyana that is growing in all sectors, and therefore the importance of interconnectivity. Okay, faster internet, right? More people need to be connected, right? The hinterland connected to the coastland, right? With the low Earth orbiting satellite, popularly known as the Starlink equipment and devices, we have connected all 253 Amerindian villages and satellite villages in Guyana, benefiting over 135,000 residents who reside in our hinterland communities, in our riverine communities. Schools are connected, and we will utilize the allocations in 2026 to upgrade those connections to our schools, connection to our health center. We now have 87 locations in the hinterland and remote areas of Guyana connected, right? Health centers connected and benefiting from what we call telemedicine, which of course will be explained more by the Minister of Health if you haven't done so already. But telemedicine is now an important part of our delivery of health care to the people of Guyana. It means that people in the hinterland now, they can now benefit from specialist health care and advice from specialists who might be here in Georgetown, all because of now better connectivity. Okay? Gold scholarship, right? People in the hinterland, because of improved connectivity, they can pursue their academic qualifications from wherever they are located. Okay? But of course, we will also utilize money to improve our immigration systems, right? The delivery of e-governance, where we have government services that are delivered electronically to the people of Guyana, wherever they reside, right? All these things gonna be improved due to the allocations in the budget in 2026. Cyber readiness and digital safety and security is an important part, because more and more, as we utilize the internet, digital infrastructure to do business, right, we become more vulnerable, right, to cyber crime. So cyber security is important, so we're investing in cyber security. Also, and perhaps the most important part, is investing in the people, right? We cannot build the infrastructure and not educate the people as to how they can utilize what is constructed for them. So the Industry and Innovation Unit under the Office of the Prime Minister, they've already trained some 6,000 Guyanese throughout the length and breadth of Guyana. And in this year, the plan is to have another 8,000 Guyanese being trained through their activities. And you know, they have a number of training sessions which will be delivered from the basic to the advanced level for the people of Guyana, both on the coastland and the hinterland, for public servants, for leaders at village level. They must be computer literate too. And because more and more we'll be utilizing the internet to do more work, as you would have seen in Guyana. So there's the whole aim of building out and expanding this whole digital infrastructure to ensure we could deliver more services to the people wherever they are located in Guyana through a more connected country.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Also, I note under your office the Hinterland Poor and Remote Communities project, which is connected to not only innovation but also the Wi-Fi GY expansion and so on, with the building out of ICT hubs and training in the hinterland. Could you expand on what we can expect from that project in 2026? What is there for the people?
Well, this is a project that started and stopped and started again when we took office in 2020. And this is a success story, because when we restarted this project in 2020, when I assumed the office of the Prime Minister, and this became my responsibility, from then to now, we have built out 166 ICT hubs in the hinterland communities, mainly Amerindian villages. The project set out to complete 200 ICT hubs, and in 2026, we will successfully complete those hubs, because as I speak, there are 166 that are completed, and there are some 22 that are various stages of construction. And then we have the additional to be completed to bring this project to a close by the end of 2026. So this is a success story. Again, over 120,000 Guyanese will benefit from these ICT hubs, right? Just imagine in an Amerindian village, you know, the children can go there. They have internet at the school, but then they also have the hubs where children, parents, and anybody could go to the hubs. They have 20 computers there, and they have the internet. In some cases, they have better connectivity than places on the hinterland. And they could, whatever they want to do, right? Business-related, educational-related, entertainment-related activity, they can have right within their village. And again, we're not only constructing and equipping the hubs, but we're training people in the communities to maintain the hubs. We're training them to use the internet. So there's this training component of building capacity at the village level, the community level. So again, this will lead to greater connectivity, greater integration into what is happening in the mainstream in Guyana.
All right, PM. While we're on the point of the agencies under your office, I know that disaster preparedness is also one of the or one of the focal points in your budget under OPM. Could you expand on disaster preparedness and resilience under your office?
Certainly, disaster preparedness and resilience is very important in any developing country because a disaster is a disruption in the development process of any country. And you must be able to quickly deal with any natural or man-made disaster that will affect the entire country or specific regions or communities by having an agency that could respond and bring immediate relief, right? Disaster related relief to those communities. And that's why the Civil Defense Commission, as the lead agency, is very important as we seek to develop Guyana and bring development to all the communities of Guyana. We must be able to respond swiftly and bring relief to communities. Guyana, as you know, affected mainly by flooding. So many of the disaster relief operations that are conducted by the CDC is in response to communities affected by flooding. But then you also have high winds that affect communities. You can have, like in the hinterland areas, right? You can have mudslides. But thankful for us so far, where they may have mudslides and so, is not in areas that are heavily populated. So you don't have much of people being affected, but mainly flooding is a big one for us. Not only in terms of flooding people's homes and everything, but in the hinterland community, you have communities that depends on subsistence farming. So if they have large-scale flooding of their farmlands, you know, food security becomes an issue. So the Civil Defense Commission has done before, and we have to be prepared to take relief supplies, mainly food items, to those communities that are so affected, until they can get back, so to speak, on their feet. When the flood recedes, it means that we have to work with the Ministry of Agriculture and other agencies to take in seeds, you know, seedlings, you know, all the different stuff that they will need to recultivate the land. So the Civil Defense Commission, the budget may appear big there, but a lot of the money is geared towards making the Civil Defense Commission better able to respond swiftly to disasters in Guyana. We are also responding to the disaster in Jamaica, right, from Hurricane Melissa. Our president, and I think that's your name, right, the president himself visited Jamaica, and he made a commitment to re-roofing some 200 homes in Jamaica. So as I speak, we have members of the Guyana Defense Force who were deployed to Jamaica as part of the home re-roofing project that Guyana is contributing significantly to. And we are sending supplies from Guyana. Yes, we would have sent food and other supplies, but right now the focus is on sending the re-roofing supplies, the wood, the zinc sheets, the nails, and so that are needed. So all in all, that money is to make Guyana more resilient, and as a government, we must be able to respond swiftly to the needs of the people during times of disaster. We had communities on the coastline, Region 2, Region 6 recently, that were affected by flood. Region 10, only last week, affected by flood. And if you read the articles in the newspaper, you realize that the CDC was part of the response, bringing relief supplies to those communities. So if you want an agency that is ready and capable of leading the relief operations, it has to be funded, and therefore the funding under CDC. We're even building out disaster management centers and facilities in other regions away from Region 4. There's one established in Region 9, there's one under construction in Region 8. And the intention is also to look at other regions, especially in the hinterland areas in Guyana.
Thank you, PM. So as we close, my final question to you is, what would you like the Guyanese public to take away from all that is happening under Budget 2026?
You know, simply put, Budget 2026 is a people-centered budget. It ensures that benefits are given to all the people of Guyana, every strata of our society, right? It places people and communities at the center of all the projects and programs that we intend to deliver in 2026. Okay? So this, as it quite rightly named, a people-centered budget, right? Putting the people first. And that's what Budget 2026 is all about. The transfer payments alone, and I ask every Guyanese to read the articles in the newspaper and just take a pen and add the numbers. Some $200 billion is the total when you look at the measures to have zero taxes on fuel. You look at the measures that transfer money to people, because we care for students in school, at the secondary school, the primary school, the nursery school. You look at the $100,000 for every Guyanese 18 years and above, the increase in old age pension, the increase in public assistance, the money paid for disabled people in Guyana, the $600,000 that we continue to pay for people who are on dialysis. You know, when you look at all these measures, all right, the income tax relief to the gold miners, right, to the private sector, the productive sectors in Guyana, the manufacturing sectors in Guyana, who are producing goods locally, all the incentives and the measures that has reduced or removed taxation, right? Some $200 billion Guyana dollars and counting is being made available to the people of Guyana at all levels through those measures. So this is a people-first budget.
Definitely, Prime Minister. I want to thank you for sitting down with us today. I do believe the people of Guyana are now better able to understand the measures under Budget 2026 and also under your officer.